For the past 2 weeks, we spoke about the importance of Seder, the Midda of the month, which means order, organization, and how helpful it is for a person to have a structure in his life in general. A structure means the ability to separate, the ability to distinguish, the ability to call a spade, according to the Torah, and not to play games with nuances and values. Today, I want to talk about something that is as important as the good Seder, that there could be something that can be seen as the wrong Seder. And in order to get there, I think the Parashat Behar, the Parashat of this week, offers a beautiful analysis around this question. What could be the wrong Seder in someone's life? And I want to tell you something that I truly believe. As much as people like to be organized and to have a structure and to have a schedule and to feel that things fit and make sense, sometimes this could be a real danger. And the Torah will offer in Parashat Behar a perfect solution for the bad outcomes that can, has v'shalom, happen for the wrong Seder. And I want to just go over quickly the topics of Parashat Behar. The Torah starts off with a huge mitzvah called Mitzvat Shemitah. Shemitah is the sabbatical year that the land of Israel will have every 7 years. In fact, this year happens to be the year of the Shemitah. And what happens during the Shemitah? Well, it's quite simple. The farmer will have to make sure not to touch the land. He cannot feel that he owns anything in the land. It will be hefker, it would be public property that anyone can come and take for themselves. They can do business with the fruits and the vegetables, but they can just come as if it's their own. And the Torah says that is going to last for a full year. And then in the end of the mitzvah of Shemitah, the Torah says, V'chi tomru. And if you ask, you the farmers, you the businessmen, Ma nochal b'shana hashvi'it. What are we going to eat? What's going to happen with Parnasah? We have a family to feed. This is important. How is it going to happen? And Hashem says, V'tziveti et birchati lachem. Ve'asat et hatevuah lishlosh hashanim. In other words, Borei Olam says, don't worry. At the end of the day, your Parnasah comes from me. I'm in charge. So I got you. And on the 6th year, you'll be able to produce 3 times the amount that you're used to. Enough for the 6th year, for the 7th year, and even for the 8th year, because since you didn't work on the 7th year, then you'll need Parnasah for the 8th year as well. And Hashem says, don't worry, I got you. I got your back. This is the inyan of the Shemitah. And remember this pasuk as we move forward in the next topic of Parashat Behar. It talks about the Yovel. The Yovel is actually what we call the Super Shemitah. Why Super Shemitah? Because after counting 7 cycles of 7 years, so 7 Shemitot, on the 50th year, the year that follows the 49th year of Shemitah, is also going to be an extra Shemitah. So 2 years of Shemitah, and we call this year the Yovel. Now, beside all the halachot of Shemitah, the Torah says something incredible. Bishnat HaYovel, on the year of the Yovel, all the purchases, the transactions that have to do with fields and properties that were inherited by Jews from their parents, they will return to the original owners. All the avadim, the Jewish slaves that were owned by another Jew, they will also get their freedom. In other words, it is the year of freedom, that everybody goes home and everybody comes back to their roots. And this is what we call the Yovel. A quite scary idea, especially in the world of business, when we feel that we want to have that security. And the Torah says again, the Yovel, I got it. You're going to blow the shofar, you're going to remember that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in control. And I am here to make sure that you will be okay. And then later on, we have the halachot of ribit, the halachot of what we call interest in loan. When the person is going to lend money to someone, then it is expected, it is, I would say, even normal that there is an interest rate. Because at the end of the day, I provide a service. And the more time that I have to wait for you to pay me back, then that time is worth money. Time is money. And I should have the right to ask for it. That makes sense. That fits. And the Torah says, no. לנוכרי תחשיך, לאחיך לא תשליך. כי יברכך השם אלוהיך. To your brother, you don't lend with interest. It's not fair. It's not right. Doesn't make sense. Well, the Olam says the same message. I got you. I'm in charge. And finally, we have all the halachot in this parasha of transactions with Batei Arechoma, Seder Achuza, Seder Migrash, and all the transactions about the land in which we leave a possibility to the seller to redeem his own property, not just himself, but even a family member. It's called Geula, redemption. So I bought the property, and as a buyer, the Torah says, wait a minute, you have to know that there will be rules. Within the year, the seller can buy back for the same price his property, or up to 2 years afterwards, each category with its own rules. And once again, all these halachot, just to recap, between the inyan of the Shemitah, the inyan of the Yovel, the inyan of the Rebit, and the inyan of those Geulot, it is what we call the anti-Seder. The anti-Seder because it doesn't make sense. All these rules are definitely against what we know of security and harmony in the business world. I would say Seder in the business world, Seder in the Parnasah. And the reason for that is because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is still telling us, wait a minute, you can plan and organize and see through as much as you want. But you have to understand that the plan has also what we call unexpected events along the way. And there is a reason for that. Because I am still in charge. Because ultimately, if your job is to have Seder in your life, it doesn't mean that it's going to always work out the way you want. Because ultimately, I am the Mesader. I am the one who is truly doing a Seder in the world. And I need you, says Borei Olam, starting with myself. I need you to realize that sometimes you need to let go. Sometimes you need to make sure that Borei Olam, I did my ishtadlut, and right now I know that I reached that limit, and it's up to you. And all these mitzvot, all these concepts in Parashat Behar are here to train us to keep this dynamic and this perspective in our lives. Because once we realize this, and as much as we are supposed to have Seder in our lives, we also realize that ultimately HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the real Mesader. He's the one in charge, and he's the one who is putting order in whatever has to happen for us. This is the whole idea of Parashat Behar. And I truly believe that as we are discussing the idea of and the importance of the Midda of the Seder, we must realize, that there is a limit to it. That it's not because we are organized that we can become control freaks on our lives, that we can have all the answers and we can have all the solutions. There are times that we need to let go and let Borei Olam do what he does best, the Seder and the harmony in our lives. Shabbat Shalom Borach.